A lovely viewer from this channel got in touch with me and they want to know my opinions on a list of buildings that they have zeroed in on and what I generally make of them. I usually do all this off camera for every single buyer, seller, and tenant I've worked with from this channel, but I thought this would be very interesting for you guys, so let's run down my opinion on these buildings. The email says, "Hey Sam, see below list of possible buildings." And here we have the list of buildings. So without any further ado, in a rapid fire fashion, let's go through the buildings. 7 Greenville Street. Here we have 7 Greenville pulled up, the YC condos. And let me start by saying, not too excited about this building. First and foremost, price per square foot, it's quite expensive. Both the price per square foot in terms of rent or price per square foot in terms of purchase and sale. But what you do get in return for the high costs is elevator outages, improper management, bad concierge service, and I've heard of a lot of issues relating to the garbage chute being out 85% of the time. And the amenities are disappointing as well. In fact, there have been some complaints with regards to the light sensors in the gym where it just goes out at random times. And people have described this building as the worst condo they've ever lived in. I don't think it quite meets that bar. I think it's not the worst by any means, but I would not recommend this to any of my Toronto condo buyers or to my Toronto tenants. Speaking of which, if you are a tenant or a buyer out there, or even a seller, you know what to do. You can book a call with me. My link is in the bio along with my contact information. It's easier than ever to book a call with me. I'd be happy to assist. I've been lucky enough to meet a ton of lovely clients from this channel. Next up, 7 Wellesley Street West. Let's now take a look at this building. So the location is fantastic, and I'm actually quite a large fan of the aesthetic. I like curvature in my modern architecture. We don't get it enough, and I really like the fact that this building has curves. And I must say, once again, not a fan whatsoever. But it has more redeeming qualities than YC condos, although the location's not as good. The biggest issues with this building are the fire alarms. The fire alarms go off at a crazy rate. I mean, you think fire alarms go off in your building, just wait until you hopefully will not ever live in this building. But, you know, if you were to ever be inside the building for a sleepover, you'll hear the fire alarms. Does have a certain aura or mystique where the concierge, the lobby is really nice. Once again, it has that luxury feel and quality. And on paper, although this building should have no issues with elevator wait times, because it has 6 elevators, rarely do you ever actually see the 6 elevators function at the same time. There's usually only 3 to 4 going. So for Wellesley on the Park, I must say, another building not a fan of. Next up, 403 Church Street. Now, once again, I like the curves. I like the curves more than just on my buildings, but I also like the curves on my buildings. Nonetheless, moving forward, the Stanley condos, this is 2 addresses, 70 Carlton and 403 Church. And now we're talking about a higher quality building than the first 2 we discussed. I would give this a solid 6.5, 7 out of 10. It's definitely passable, functional, would more likely recommend it to tenants as opposed to buyers. Not to say if you're a buyer, you should completely avoid this building, but it's more so intended for the bachelor. It's more so intended for the younger crowd. Location, once again, great. All these buildings really have great location. The cool thing is that most of the units in this building have stainless steel appliances. Not all, obviously, but most do. Obviously, although it's a newer building, the maintenance for the age is still pretty decent. That's going to increase inevitably in the future, though. The area is very busy. This building's going to have a lot of tenants, like a lot of tenants. So, you know, your neighbors can be anything from quiet tenants to loud tenants. You never know. You can never really select for that unless you get lucky on the day of showings or buyers visits. But parking is very scarce in this building. As always with all these buildings, I have so much more I can share, but remember, this video is supposed to be quick fire and I have to learn to shut up sometimes. Next up, 585 Bloor Street East. Let's take a look at this building. And bam, we have it via Bloor Condos. This is obviously the graphic illustration. It's already built. Brand new building. I think it just closed in 2022, like late 2022, early 2023 perhaps, by Tridel. And guys, this is 585 and its sister building 575. And obviously, knowing me, knowing what I think about Tridel buildings, it should come to no surprise to you that not only do I highly recommend this building, but I love this building. Is it my favorite Tridel building? No, I would still probably put 25 Adra Greater Way ahead of it. I would put 1 Edgewater ahead of it, but it's still really good. 585, 575, really good buildings. Location is a bit more questionable. A lot of people don't like where this is located. I ultimately think, once again, I'm very flexible. I don't have any security or safety issues there, and it's an up and coming area. Parking is scarce once again. And really, like most Tridel buildings, you really have to kind of hit the higher price points to see the best floor plans. The lower price point units in this building, their floor plans leave a little bit to be desired. And then some 2 bedrooms can have really awkward angular layouts. And lastly, one other thing I'll bring to your attention is the fact that a lot of the units do face the graveyard. These buildings are really close to the cemetery, and some units do face the cemetery. Obviously, the higher the better, and you don't really see it. But besides that, you can expect the same quality, the Tridel quality, the Tridel standard, the finishes, the door quality, the hallway length, the ceiling on the hallways, the finishes inside the units, the concierge service, the management. Fantastic building. And by the way, I might add, not that expensive. You can actually find a lot of more affordable 2 bedrooms in this building. Next up, 8D Esplanade. It's a controversial building, so much so that I made a full 20-minute video on this building, reviewing this building. So I'm going to keep my comments even more brief. Go check out that 20-minute review I have of this building, but I like it. I think it's overhated. There definitely has some issues. Parking, once again, very scarce. The high rise, it has really good elevator wait times. I'm not saying you'll never come across elevator wait issues. Maintenances are shooting up a little bit higher than what I'm comfortable with, but I don't think it's ugly. I actually think it looks good. I think that a lot of the smaller units, although they have that column, they've done a decent job with the layout, and its location is fantastic. There's no question there. This building has shown great appreciation upside, and in current down market, property values have fallen, of course, but they've actually held up better than a lot of other adjacent buildings. But you will hear the trains, right? It's right next to Union. Sometimes that's a bug, sometimes that's a feature, sometimes that's both. Next up, we have 60 Princess and 121 Lower Shorebourne. Now, hold up, wait a minute. The reason I'm taking these two together is because, first and foremost, they're part of the same project, Time and Space. Although Time and Space is built by a builder I'm generally a fan of, it's a brand new building. It's so new that it's naked right now. And there are usually in very new buildings that are just occupying a lot of problems, a lot of quirks to be worked out in terms of elevator outages. Once again, work being done in the hallways not even being finished. Dust and debris, the fob system not working, so much stuff to work out. That's why these are buildings that I think will be good in a year and a half. But right now, especially what I'm hearing from the ground, it seems as if these quirks, quote unquote, or these growing pains are a little bit more than even normal. As a result, this is TBD, not recommendable right now, but in the future, it can be a building we can consider. Moaned condos, great golf, 12 and 16. Now, once again, you guys should know I know this building quite well. Just had a listing in this building, which I made a video on, and we sold that listing in just less than a week. Talked about this building before. Definitely a B+ building. B+ building, I would have to say. The elevator wait times can be a little bit higher than I like it, but location has a lot of upside. A lot of 1+1s, especially the one I sold, have really outstanding, amazing, immaculate views. You can find some cheap 2 bedrooms in this building, but the 2 bedrooms are going to be facing a lot of upcoming construction. But built by Great Golf, really good builder. I really like this project of theirs and other projects of theirs. Amenities are great, high end, up to par amenities for sure. Has an infinity pool. The party room is great. The gym is great. The concierge is always helpful. Are they always polite? No, but they're always helpful and they're competent. But for the amount of maintenance you pay, you get not too much. Internet is actually, I believe internet and cable are actually included, and I think only one of the 3 utilities are included. Maintenance is on the higher end for what you actually end up getting. And of course, if you are near the Gardner portion, or facing the Gardner, or facing the train tracks, you're going to hear that constant hum. But once again, this building has a lot of great views, great residents. The dual entry building, so 12 and 16 are one condominium corporation, and a lot of people enter through 12. Kind of connecting some of the floors. I like the 16 side better than the 12 side. That's why, as you guys can see, I'm being very fair, giving the pros, giving the cons. That's why I would say it's a B+ level building, maybe B plus on a good day. Anyways, I try to make that quick fire as much as possible. I'm kind of verbose sometimes. If you have any other questions with any other matters, you already know what to do. Get in touch with me. My link is in the bio. It's easier than ever to set up a chat with me for any buying, selling, and leasing inquiries. And if you enjoyed this video, definitely subscribe. Your subscription and a like is greatly appreciated. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe and stay tuned. Thank you.